Hi, my name is Jeff Phillips. I'm the Director of Water Resources for Greenville Water. I have been in the water industry for just about 30 years now. My interest in water started back when I was looking at careers, and it kind of made a full circle when I got out of college, because originally I wanted to be a doctor. So my degree is in biochemistry. The reason why I chose biochemistry because I really enjoyed the sciences, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a biologist or if I wanted to be a chemist. So I combined both and had the best of both worlds. So after college, I spent a year in medical school, didn't like it at all, decided to go on a different career path. I was fortunate enough to be able to get a job in the water plant as a chemist in Reading, Pennsylvania. So from there, the interest just took off in the water field. I decided I wanted to learn. I became very interested in the operations of the plant, how we treated the water, the chemistry involved in it, and I went on to take my test required to become a certified operator, which you still have to do this today yet. After that, as luck would have it, they needed a superintendent, so I became the superintendent of that water treatment plant. And then in 1997, I had the opportunity to move to Greenville and to be the first superintendent of this plant that started up in the year 2000. My favorite part of this job is dealing with all the people I have to deal with, whether it's customers for a customer complaint, or it's my staff and guiding them and directing them on how to operate on a daily basis, to other groups in the departments with questions about water treatment. And then on top of that, it's also going out and interacting with the community. I really love to do that. I do it frequently. So, that's a vital part for us, because a lot of people don't know what goes into the treating of your drinking water. You just either open up your spigot and here comes water. You don't realize how much goes into actually getting that from our pristine reservoirs in the north 30 miles to your house in Greenville or in Simpsonville or in Fountain Inn. There's a lot of work involved. I've always been a fan of the STEM fields. So in high school, I took organic chemistry, general chemistry, biology, physics, calculus, because at the time my goal was to become a doctor. After college, I went to medical school for a year and realized it's not what I wanted to do. So I looked at working in water laboratory. So I started off as a chemist in a water treatment plant, and eventually became very interested in the operational aspects of that facility and how the water treatment plant works. So I had to go take a test to get certified. I got my water treatment plant operator certification, and then eventually I became the superintendent of that water plant before moving down to South Carolina, when I actually was the first superintendent of this plant, of the Stovall plant here in Greenville. So Greenville Water actually offers a lot of opportunities for a number of fields, both in STEM and outside of STEM. We have individuals with just high school diplomas, and then we also have doctorates working here. And that's the great thing about working for a water utility, is we do anything from engineering to plant operations to construction to accounting to computer science. We have a whole IT department. So, but from an operational standpoint, the only requirement is that you have to have a high school diploma. When we hire operators, they have to have a very strong math and science background, and that's what we look for. The other thing we also look for is their ability to think quick on their feet. Even though most of the time the plan will works by itself and works efficiently, there are times when things get upset. We'll have a weather incident, lightning will knock out power. So they have to be able to get the plant up and running very quickly, because we have to get water to our 500,000 people in Greenville County. I also have to be able to troubleshoot problems when they happen. And one of the things, you have to keep calm. You just can't panic when something's gone wrong. You got to go out, figure out what the situation is, look at all the variables, and then from there decide on what you're going to do to try to remedy the situation. My best advice for you is to stay focused on what you want to do. It may change, it's going to change, but at least have some idea. But find something that you like and become very versed at it. Study it, look into it, do everything you can, do all your research on it, because even though it may not be your career, it's actually instituting a sense of learning in you. You're trying to understand something that you don't understand. This just happened to me recently. My whole life I've been very interested in weather and weather predictions and modeling and everything that goes in with it. And even now I have just started taking classes to get my certification in weather forecasting. And it's been a benefit for us here because I control the releases from our reservoir. So I have to look at what weather and rainfall's coming. And then also from a standpoint of we have crews that work out in the field continuously all day. And if we get a tornado warning or a watch, they have to be alerted to that so they can find a safe place. So it's become very useful, and I'm about halfway there. I got 2 more classes to take. A typical day for me is hopefully kind of boring. I'm the person who they go to most of the time to troubleshoot situations that are taking place. So I'll be called out to look at a basin, at our centrifuge. I also every day check the weather because weather is very important in this field. We have to watch for storms coming through. And we're unique in the upstate of South Carolina in the fact that in an average year, we can get about 50 inches of rain down at the Greenville Spartanburg International Airport where the National Weather Service office is. But up here, we can get up to over 100 inches of rain. So we have to regulate our reservoirs and regulate our releases out of them. So I take care of that every day. And, you know, in order to keep these 2 plants in compliance, there's a lot of regulatory paperwork, forms, reports that have to be done. So I do a lot of that too, but it's days like today where, you know, we have certain things breaking down that I go out and look at that kind of makes it exciting. So it's never really a typical day. I mean, we have to go out and do changes to the water quality. Our lab goes out, does 30, 40 samples a day. We flush over 300 hydrants in the system in a month. And then we operate 24/7. So, I mean, our operators are constantly looking at the water quality, looking at the weather, looking at chemical feed. And all this is we're trying to maintain a very pristine water for the citizens of Greenville County. We have 2 water treatment plants. This is our headquarter plant. This is the Stovall water treatment plant. And here we can treat up to 75 million gallons a day. Our whole water system actually runs the whole basically length of Greenville County. So it's 40 some miles from top to bottom. And all of that we control from here, how the water flows throughout the various parts of the system and how we bring water in from our Lake Kiwi water plant as well. Right now we're in the DAF building of the Stovall water treatment plant. And this is the area where after we've added chemicals to the water, we basically take out any dirt or microorganisms that are in the water. Currently, you may not think about it, but we have 2 of the most pristine reservoirs in the United States. We're one of only a very handful of water systems that completely own their reservoirs and their whole drainage area. So our water is very clear, very pristine. However, there is still dirt in it and there are still microbials in it, like bacteria. So we have to remove that. So we had chemicals to the water in order to create the brown, basically what you see here is float. It's that dirt that's being brought up to the surface so that we can clean it off so that the clear water comes out of the bottom and it's further filtered for drinking water. One of my other responsibilities is to oversee the maintenance of both our water treatment plants and our 20 plus tanks and distribution system. As you can see, we're in the filter gallery now, and every piece of equipment here has these little tags on them. And the reason for those tags is they're actually an asset. So our maintenance department goes through and for each one of these pieces of equipment has a preventive maintenance scheme that they have to follow in order to ensure that they continually operate. And continual operation is very important for us because we can't have shutdowns. Shutdowns mean we can't produce water. And as everybody knows, we're a vital service and we have to provide water to Greenville County. The careers within the water industry are very broad, and the actual outlook for careers in the water industry is very bright. And the main reason is because the water industry, for the number of years recently, is getting aged. There are a large number of employees within the water industry that are going to retire within the next 10 years, creating openings for younger individuals to come in who have interest in this type of work. So from an operations standpoint, we hire individuals with a high school degree, as I mentioned, with strong math and science background. Typically, we bring them in around $20 an hour, which is roughly $40,000 a year. But we have a career ladder in place where by taking the various required tests to get your certifications, which there are 5 of them, at your top level, you can make upwards of $25, $30 an hour within like 6 years. Now, if you want to go beyond that, we usually require some type of college degree that'll put you into management where you can make even more money, sometimes approaching $100,000 a year in this career.